lot of responsibility. Trying to change the world. Politics, music, man, something's gotta work. And do it all, I never give up on my people. Hi, good evening, folks. Thank you for tuning in. This is Politics and Music. My name is Andre Rady. I'm your host of this wonderful show. I really appreciate you all for watching this episode. I had an inspirational guest today who's motivated me, inspired me, and she's doing a lot of work, not only in her own community, but in the entire state of New York. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome my dear friend, Ashley Pallano. Good evening, Ashley. How you doing? How you doing?
I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy you made it up. I made it up all the way from the fair of Yonkers. You see, in Peekskill, New York. Thank you so much for being here.
Being here.
A lot of people are waiting to hear what you have to say. I know that you're very active. People recognize you for your work. I met you through your activism, especially for the challenges that family face in family court. And so before we go anywhere, I want to ask, I want you to tell the people a little bit about what you do, but especially about family court abuse YL, because that was how I was introduced to you, what you're working on now. I know you've evolved and you're changing the world at different levels, but that was my introduction to you.
No, that's right. That is how soon that you came out to the first protest that we've had for the Bachelor.
Top eye. I was like, oh, this is good.
Yeah. So that's actually how it just became the family court protest while started out with just parents that were upset about the system and the challenges that they were facing. So, Hector Santiago, shout out to him. He actually was the one who made the connection with you and I. But him and I were discussing that there were just no services or no advocacy when it comes to parents that were dealing with the system. And so, you can deal with that in so many different ways where you kind of got baby mother against baby father, but we needed something that was for parents that were strictly dealing with the injustice that was happening within the family court system and the child welfare system. Families are being separated, mothers, fathers, all are being separated, and the children are suffering from it. And it's just so quiet.
Mm-hmm.
So we went outside and he started screaming. You were part of it.
I got to start out to your fight. That man is an inspiration in himself. Shout out to yourself. But when he talks, you can hear the passion in his heart.
The conviction and Sasha. My child's almost 8 years. My dad is absolutely
white, black, brown, blue. It doesn't matter, or yellow. We gotta get together and fight the system, okay?
My mom too. My mom and my dad.
She's a solid. It's a solid monster. I heard this thing she did behind the scenes.
My mom is assassin. It's a straight assassin.
And they yellow form too, so it's even. Oof.
Yeah, but it's really. We're true to it because we've been through it. So, it's not really just about us and what we've been through. Mm-hmm. We're seeing this happen all over the world, globally. We've been able to make connections with everybody in New York, in our city, outside. It's really, really the stories that you hear. Yeah. It's real serious.
It's very heartbreaking. I've learned some stories in my advocacy work for the family court reform, and it's to the point now where I don't even share my story because it's stuff that I heard. It's like what I'm going through is, to me, it was the maximum level of crazy. But when I hear what others are going through, it's like I would do something minimal compared to what they're going through. So, talking about that, being that, this is fairly, I don't want to say new because it's in your soul to do it. But, learning the ropes of how to address things, through protesting, advocacy, getting people out to vote or getting people involved, how do you contain yourself mentally, like keeping yourself from overstressing out or just becoming overwhelmed with the work? Because once you put yourself out there, people, when they need help, you're in demand. Yeah, it's like, okay, well, Ashley's fighting for this, so I'm gonna reach out to her, or Ashley's fighting for this, so I'm gonna have my friend reach out to her. Like, how do you keep containing yourself from becoming overwhelmed?
Well, I think the first thing is you build your village, right? So if I can't do something, if I can't help, I'm gonna try to get someone else who's part of the team to help out. Another thing is like, for myself, unfortunately, when you're going through this system, you have to learn the art of detachment. So, when it's time to turn off, I have to turn off for my own mental sanity so I can come back and be better and stronger. I can't just really be able to hold that on myself, take care of myself. So when it is time for me to come out to navigate, it is happy to see out, I'm thankful to get out, ready for it. So I think that finding the balance again, creating village that can also be a resource, and then also learning when to detach.
We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, ask some more questions from Ashley. But at this moment, I want you to take a look at our Make It Make Sense segment. Thank you.
Welcome back to Make It Make Sense, where we shine a light on the beautifully bizarre.
Today, we dive into why kids are running wild while parents sip lattes and scroll Instagram. No, we're not here to preach old school discipline, absolutely not. But listen, if you're skipping out on teaching basic manners at home, don't point fingers at teachers when your kids lack social skills. Let's be real. Parents play a monumental role in shaping behavior. Spoiling them is fun. Doing everything for them feels great. But you have to guide them. Fast forward to when they're 18, and some parents act like they're sending off a foreign exchange student, not their own kid.
Make it make sense.
Parenting is a team sport, folks. You want to win? You've got to play the game. So, put down the phone, set some screen time rules, and get involved. It's not just about society, it's about you too. It's up to you to build a balanced and present family environment. Remember, the best way to raise a well-rounded kid is to be a well-rounded parent. Oh, and understand accountability. I hope this makes sense.
Join me next time on Make It Make Sense, where we continue to explore the quirks of our delightfully dysfunctional world. Until then, stay sane out there.
I should introduce myself, I suppose. In double O, also well known as that concrete rose.
All right, welcome back. Thank you so much. Politics and Music, your host, unwavering, former mayor of the great city of Peekskill, also known as Boo, here with my father, Ashley Pallano. So, an interesting question. I was at a conference in New York City earlier this year. I want to say around January or February with the Families and Children Committee of New York City, New York State.
Stunning show, man. Yeah, I saw the printout. I got that on my to-read list, right?
I would say it was comfortable for me because I love uncomfortable situations. So I had a great time. But I was there to speak on behalf of the family court reform. But everyone else there that was speaking on family court reform was focused on domestic violence against women. And my focus was more so on shared parenting and equal custody. And one of the statements that one of the senators made was, and he thought it was a joke, so and it wasn't to take seriously. It's hard not to take things like this personally or seriously, but I will give him credit. It wasn't meant to be taken seriously as a joke. But the statement he made was he notices that the parents that lose when it comes to what they want in family courts are the ones that are doing the most activism. So I thought I almost took it as an insult. But I did, I was okay with my family court situation. So, but what do you feel about people who are really out, lobbying, protesting, and suggesting that family court needs, reform, or for some reason saying needs to be abolished? Like, as a person that's advocating for, how do you feel about the people who are really out there pushing for change? Because that statement really resonated in a negative way, as people who are
It is. I mean,
advocating.
it is a negative thing to say whether it was a joke or not. No, but because you haven't. This is the thing. It's like, as a lived experience actor, as somebody who's been through the system, you have to be through the system in order to understand. So you're gonna be when you're saying things like that, you're speaking to a lot of equals child. Nobody wins in the system. Not the child, not the parent. Nobody wins. I can tell you that 100%. Okay? Whether if they keep the child or not, they're dealt with the overbearance of being the parent that's there 100% of the time. There is no fairness. And so when you have a system like that that's being supported by taxpayers' dollars, you have to there has to be somebody that's going to be able to put it back in check.
Right.
And this system doesn't only deal with custody battles. You're dealing with way more than that. You know, they're
Protection.
order protections, again, domestic violence. You know, a lot of these things don't even have a place in family court. Some of them should be seen in a second court. Just saying, it shouldn't be. A crime is a crime. If we label something a crime, then let it be seen and let it be dealt with in the way that it should be, that we've intended to. You get me saying? When it's crimes against women, children, or men, DV should not be seen in family court. So I'm just going to say that. And then it leaves spaces for people like you who are dealing with the separation and want custody of the kids. It makes it easier. When you're dealing with DV, it overshadows everything. Everything. So the problem is, it just it shouldn't be a family court, and that's the reality of.
Yeah, you couldn't worry about it. I'm gonna make sure that when this is edited, I'm gonna make sure this. Just so you know, so I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I not say his name right now on this podcast, but I'm gonna make sure that he knows that people are watching.
And then two, for the politicians, they need to be aware that they're dealing with people that are very traumatized by the system, and you got to handle that with care. Your constituents are being traumatized by a system that should not be empowered. It should be your constituent that's empowered to be able to keep their families together. So, you know.
One of the things you said, which I think really resonates with some of the listeners out there, whether they're domestic violence advocates, shared parenting advocates, father's rights, mother's rights, single mother's rights, single father's rights, whatever you're advocating for, is a lot of people, because a lot of elected officials that I spoke to, after I was successful with my custody case the first time around, was a lot of the elected officials in New York, in my district especially, didn't recognize the challenges that are actually going on in family court, because a lot of them have been going through it, but the ones who have actually gone through it, they're the ones who can, side and say, yeah, this needs to be changed. But a lot of them just don't seem to be aware of what families go through in family court, especially like you said, if they don't go through it themselves. So that's CSQA. That's the power before you. Right. So with this, I thank you for saying it. That's like something I might have to put like closed captions just for that part right there. Like that's very powerful. I want to ask you about the Westchester Justice. So like I said before, I met you through Family Court of YL. But now we stepped on a little bit.
Yeah, so the family court abuse Whitehall still exists because that's our group of protest, right? That's where we're gonna come out. We're gonna protest. You know, we did Yonkers tons of times. Yonkers stick a lot. You did White Plains, Nourish Shells most definitely next. You know, make sure I'm ready to have support system. They're less. That movement hasn't stopped. But the Westchester Justice for Families is a grassroots organization that's moving towards being a 501c3, where we could support parents in legal advocacy and legal education. So one of our first programs is going to be a parent advocacy empowerment program, where we're going to connect your lawyers that can give a virtual session, 12-month series, on just parental rights, deal with CPS, with child support, and really just giving parents the resources and the power to kind of stand their ground on there in front of the judge, because it's like you have the whole world against you when you're in that courtroom. So if you have the knowledge and the power to understand exactly what's going on when things are happening, it's really just kind of what the Westchester Justice for Families is really going to be about.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome. You put a lot of work into what you do, and you mentioned earlier about like being able to shut off, to kind of like take care of yourself and be with family and loved ones and all of that. So, one of the things that we learn when we deal with the family court issues, especially, is we're sometimes under the impression, which I believe to be true, that a lot of the people in the office are connected to some of these attorney lawyers and judges that we experience. So one of the things that I would say is, so that you mentioned earlier, is taxpayer money. If you're unaware of what's happening in family court systems and the challenges that families are facing and the negative outcomes that the children are receiving, if you're a taxpayer, you believe taxpayer dollars should be used, rightfully so, this is something you should definitely want to look into. So I appreciate you making that statement. It's vital for people to understand.
Yeah, well, we see that when you see someone that wants to become a judge. You see a politician in a road real quick. You know what I'm saying? So they are also that. Listen, I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking it. As long as they can carry themselves with the integrity that they swear by that they're gonna sue because they swear so hard. But again, like there has to be some checks and balances. So I think that the right people are starting to speak up about their experience. And I hope you judges are scared.
I'm sure you would. Yeah, or they just gonna be mad at us. I just hear real sin maybe other, but it's the truth though, and not taken away because whenever you make statements like that, you always get that one person to say or comment, well, all judges are not like that, or all fosters are not like that, or it's not all of anything, but there is a large amount, and I tell people, you're not protesting because you woke up on a Monday morning war. You're protesting because you've heard stories, you've experienced things, and you've read about things, you've done your research. So it's never all of anything, but there's a large majority of people who really understand what we're talking about.
Right. Well, it's the culture of the courts. So even if you don't want to blame a specific judge, or because you do have some nice people that work in, I've come across some nice judges, I've come across some nice lawyers, but it's the culture, and this isn't just the culture here in New York. I mean, New York is rated F. I'm just saying, we're rated S so when it comes to the family court system. So that right there within itself speaks volumes. But this is happening in Australia. This is happening in the UK, Canada. So again, like this is a worldwide thing that we're attacking. I just wanted to make sure that again, when it comes to Yonkers, we're beating it. We're able to identify the problem and come together and address it the right way by having the right conversation. So this is obviously one.
Yeah. So, given that, it's interesting that we have to do the work that we have to do because it's in our hearts and souls. And, sometimes, unfortunately, in the real world, when we want something to change or we want something to happen, it doesn't happen immediately. And, time is limited on this earth. So if things don't change, just figuratively speaking, within the next year, will we be blessed enough to see Ashley run front office or something one day?
I tried that. I did run for city council at Ahoy. It's not my thing. No, because you know what? When I like activism, because it allows me to stay true to the cause. I think that when you sometimes become a politician, you have to kind of like slow down on slow down on it, and I have no attention on my brakes when it comes to so I try to remain in the activism world and that be a politician.
That's a phase. Being in the Oakers, you could see the difference of the roles, and it's like as an artist or a musician, like our art is to express ourselves and say what we want. And an elected official, they want you to be so politically correct, So, but that's I keep saying that answer.
I'm anything but politically correct. To sit the office and say it. They don't want you in those rooms. I can't. I can't. Listen.
I don't walk in that room. The funny thing is, you're one of those people who, I've seen people who are like that, who are known to be that type of person, but it was never for a positive. Like, there's people who I've dealt with in Peace Deal who, whenever they walk to the room, everybody's like, oh, God, here they go. But it wasn't like, oh, God, here they go, they're standing for something. It's like, oh, God, here they go, they're about to go to the microphone, excuse for stuff that doesn't even exist, or make up some stories, or the case is. So,
well, I think that the thing is, like, nobody really wants to talk about it. Because either the shame, the stigma, or I think just a lot of people don't know what to do. I really do. I think that there's a lot of people that are in office that just don't know how to deal with this.
that's true.
So, not even myself do I have all the answers, but the conversations have to be had.
Right. So for those that are watching, and I got a couple more questions for you. Those that are watching, and I'm glad that you mentioned that too, who are, when I was at that conference in New York City, there was a woman there who worked for Westchester County Kelly Family Court, and she spoke about the injustices and the unfair treatment to certain parents, But when she walked out, I made sure I gave her my information. Like, that was great. You gave me the recommendation letter. But she said, I might lose my job for this, but I don't care. I'm tired of seeing what I see. What kind of inspiration or advice would you give people who really want to say something, but they feel confined by the walls of, employment, or opportunity? If I say something, I might not get promoted. Or I might not be able to feed your family or whatever.
I mean, I think that's the thing with kind of like standing in the face of opposition, right? Like you're gonna have to take some kind of losses. I think that when I started for 10 years in Yonkers, I did the most happiest events. Easter, Thanksgiving. This way, I think it's so long. I worked for all the big organizations, the not-for-profits in Yonkers, PAL, YMCA, anybody. And we used to do the most wonderful. And then when I came out screaming, everybody was like, Esty, Esty, but it was something that had to be brought to the surface. You gotta say. So I lost tons of friends. I lost a lot of people that they used to be in my network that don't want to deal with me. But at the end of the day, like you gotta do what's right and you gotta stay true to the mission and not really care about anything else. And sometimes that promotion just ain't it, baby. Your alignment somewhere else.
There you go. Please sit it. Beautiful, beautiful answer. So, two last questions. One, if there was any historical figure that you could think of that you would like to sit and have dinner with, just to break for it, who would it be?
Malcolm X.
I was a spear guy.
Okay, so my dad loved Malcolm X. My dad loved Malcolm X. And I remember when I was in high school, they were trying to teach us about Malcolm X. And I brought the book home to my dad. Dad was like, this isn't the truth. Oh, you really put me on to Malcolm X and how this man was able to kind of speak truth to power. He stayed true to his mission until it cost him his life. And I think that right there is something that a lot of leaders lack. Is like at some point something comes along where it kind of waters down our mission or waters down kind of like, or we switch sides, whatever it is. It's very, very hard to stay focused and stay true to your mission in this game.
It's very true.
So this man is like a huge inspiration, and I absolutely love him.
I can't deny it. Can't deny it. So the last question I want to ask you for this evening, and then I would love for you to share a few words of inspiration. So let's take a quick break after this question. But this is that I ask every guest that I have on this politics and music show podcast, and the question is, being that you're involved now, with social media, there's no turning back. Back in the early 90s or late 90s before internet was popular, you can be an activist in your city and only the people in your city would know unless you were like on a newspaper. Now, as soon as you put something on Facebook, anybody who's a friend of yours can share it to somebody. And so you're in here. What inspires you the most to stay in his positions of an activist for the people who need you most, especially for those who don't have the voices to say what you say, but what motivates you to stay in the box?
I think it's really just the commitment to change a system that's really, really oppressive, abusive. That I think that this is something that God ordained me with this journey. He, for some reason, had it fall in my lap. And so it's just, again, like really being true to the mission and the cause and really tunnel vision on that. So it's like I'm committed to bringing some form of impact, some form of change, no matter what.
Couldn't say that. Yeah. So couldn't say that. So we're gonna share all of your social media handles. But at this time, we'll take a quick break, and I'm gonna allow Ms. Pallano to say some words of inspiration or anything that you could think of that you really want to share with the people. Give us a quick second. We'll be right back. But Ashley, we appreciate you for driving all the way up from Yonkers to Beachfield to Journal.
I don't leave my house unless it's for a protest. So I came out, sister. They're like, protest the Hi, this is Ashley from the Family Court of Use, YO, and also the Westchester Justice for Families. The inspirational quote that I'm going to leave everyone with is rejection is redirection. Just because something is not working out for you at this moment or in this lane, maybe in trying to accomplish something or get something done again, rejection is redirection. Stay true to your mission, stay true to what matters to you. Take care of yourself, take care of your loved ones, and again, stay true to your mission, stay focused. With love, Ashley.
Neck under your knees like we can't breathe. The change that we want to see, I promise it's getting close. So I got some help from the ghost and we able to bring you home.